Hello guys. I recently started reading this book, and I'm going to start a new series in which every day I read some part of this book, or probably I read at least one chapter a day, and I'll come and explain this chapter to you, and in a simpler words, so that it makes for you easy, so that I do the work, I read the book and explain you it in a simpler way. So let's start. And today I have read the introduction. So this book was read by, this book was written by Morgan Housel. Morgan Housel is an great writer, and his books are New York Times bestsellers, and he has got several awards for his writings. So, the book of the name is Psychology of Money. Here in this book, the author introduces to the readers with a central theme. The central theme is people. It the financial stability is affected, or the economic growth of each individual is affected by how they behave with money, or how their relationship is with their money. So in this book, the first thing I read, the author introduced three renowned and well achieved personalities, in which the author started by taking a story of the time when he was in his college days and worked in a nice hotel as a valet, and there was a regular guest who would come and chill and have food and go. There's one day that he just asked him, the author, to take $1,000 and go down in the street and get some near the and go to the jewelry shop down the street and bring him some $1,000 gold coins. So the author gets those, and he met his friends, and they just went outside near the lake and they started skipping the coins. Now, what do you mean by skipping here? Skipping is, if we go to any shore or beaches or any lake, what we usually do is take a stone and we just throw it. And that is what we love, and so that is what they have done to the $1,000 gold coin. So here, and other two personalities, in which one was Ronald Reed and Richard Foscunes, in which Ronald Reed was a very hard-working person who had worked as a janitor, as a mechanic for several years of his life, and while the year of his death, he had he had turnover, or he had a what do we say? So he had his wealth of over $8 million. So, and the other side, there was Richard Foscune, who was a very well educated, a very well experienced, a very well comes from a very good class of a society, whereas Ronald Reed comes from a very low class society, had no education, had no experience. But what happens to Richard Foscune was that his fortunes were depleted. Due to 2008 financial crisis, he was bankrupt. He became a bankrupt. So that's why here the author says us that finance is the only one field in which a person with no education, no experience, and not from a good class of society can outperform a person with high qualifications, with a lot of experience and etc., can outperform. And there comes again one thing that even author makes a point that people notices you or have interest in you with these only two topics related. One is finance and health. So finance and money, whether they are interested in you, they see whether with money and health. So there the author explains finance is a different field. It is based on the people's behavior, because if something I do, if there's something I do that will make sense for me, but it will maybe that may not make sense for you, as my financial decisions are different. That is the point. And at the end, the author explains the author quotes a tells a quote by Voltaire: history never repeats itself, but man does itself. Thank you. I'll come again with the first chapter, so stay tuned and I'll come back. Bye guys.